Now let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Play ball!
Thomas Tuchel has been confirmed as the England boss. That deal is till July 2026. That means he's going to be leading the English team to the World Cup. He is the third foreign coach to be coaching the England national team. The first was Ericsson, the second was Capello. Now, he is the third foreign coach to coach the Three Lions. Okay, if you look at that deal, he in the summer after he left Bayern Munich, he was probably Manchester United wanted him, but they kept Ten Hag. He didn't have a club, he didn't have anybody approach him. Even this international break, the rumors there that Manchester United was actually, he was contacted again by Manchester United, but probably they decided to stick with Ten Hag. But now he's going to be coaching the England squad. I'll start with you, Nonso. What do you make of this? Do you think that he's the right person, he's the right tactician? Because he is a good tactician. He has won the Champions League with Chelsea, won the league with PSG, reached the final of the Champions League with PSG, won a cup competition in Germany. He's been almost everywhere and he has won. He's a good tactician. But do you think he is the right young coach to take England to win the World Cup in 2026?
You never know, because the last time we were on this podcast for Southgate, when I was saying Southgate could perhaps leave the job now, we said if your best doesn't get the trophies, get another best. Now for Tuchel, we never know. He's new on the job. The World Cups is just not far-fetched. So I think this World Cup is a no-no. He won't be winning this World Cup if that's where so to summarize the whole long talk, because I don't know, but a tactician, he's a good tactician. I think now he will have to get some scouting teams around him, because I know he's a player, he's a kind of coach that he also understands the principles of scouting. So whenever you're scouting as a coach, you know how to get the best talent out of your players, and also tactically you know how to get the best out of your team. Now, if you can do that on both sides, you can win on both sides, get results first. Then the World Cup maybe 2030, you can be talking about that's if he's still on the job. If he's
still on the job, that's the problem.
But for England,
2026.
Van Gogh Ericsson didn't stay long on the job. I think it was just 3 years. Fabio Capello 2 years on the job, I think. So now with all these managers coming in now he is the first German manager. You can't say he's the first foreign manager. He's the first German manager. There was a first Norwegian, there was the first Scandinavian, there was the first Scandinavian on the job, there was the first Italian in these two other coaches that came in. Now he's the first German. Now you can't take away the fact that he is good. We've seen him win trophies, we've seen him as a Syria winner, and just like Lee said they should bring in a Syria winner that he can only steady the ship, he can only get through tournaments, but he's not sure.
No, the statement that he's going to go back to the under 21.
Now he said according to Lee, he's not sure he's the Syria winner that will lead England to the World Cups and win it. So I think the Euros 2028 might be an opening for Tuchel if he stays that long on the job first. But first, you just need to see him through the World Cups, because I'm sure this World Cup is not for him. But overall, he's a good coach.
John, what do you think about that deal?
It's a historic deal in the sense that, if you understand the history of England and Germany, there is beef in that place, in the sense that if you look at the happenings from the Second World War, if you look at the happenings also around the First World War, you know that there is always a fracas there. But, for the owners, the people in the FA who are behind the recruitment, saw Tuchel, they know his talent, they know what he can bring to the team, and they made the offer and he went for the job. I think Manchester United are at a loss right now, because that would have been a good option for them to, if they had decided to exercise that offer. But Tuchel going to England is a fantastic move, and this is why it's a fantastic move. We've seen England go to competitions and crumble in key moments when you come down to meeting a team that defies your logic. For example, you go to a game, you're expecting that you're going to come at you at this way, this is how you're going to defend. But then when you meet team that you don't know how to defend against, you need somebody who can think 3 steps ahead and come up with a strategy to come up with a win. And that's Tuchel. He's done it at Paris Saint-Germain, he's done it at Chelsea, he's done it at Borussia Dortmund, he's also done it at Bayern Munich. So I think he's the man that deserves the role. Now the thing now is how he's going to pick his team and how they are going to play together. Let's not forget that he's also worked with Harry Kane before and a couple of other players.
I started talking about him yesterday.
Yeah. So let's see how it goes. I think it's a good one, and I will not rule him out of reaching the finals of the next World Cup.
We are not talking about reaching the finals. We are talking about winning it, because they are winning the semi-finals and the finals.
I put Tuchel as the outlier that can break this jinx of it's coming
Now,
home.
getting into semi-finals twice. I think it's twice now. Getting into semi-finals of the World Cup, 2018 World Cup semi-finals, where they lost to Belgium in the round in third place. The last World Cup, 2022, they got into the quarterfinals also. Now, the Euros 2020, they got to the finals. 2 finals of the Euros and semi-finals of the World Cup. It doesn't tell, maybe we say it doesn't tell a good story on, what's it called now, on Gareth Southgate. But Tuchel is his first year. We've not seen, I think it's not the Chelsea philosophy where you come in and show. You get, this is not Chelsea. This is not club football where you come in and 38 games you are all bossing around to get your first trophy. This is not Chelsea. This is not the way Chelsea play. I think the English FA would have to understand that it will take time again, though they have a solid time, a solid team, but it will take time to fit this team into this person's style of play. He plays with 3 at the back, he plays with 4-man midfield and 3 attackers, which is not really 3 attackers, it's always 2 attackers, one of those attackers dropping into midfield, making it 3 at the back, 5 in midfield, and 2 up front. Now, will England be able to get the players that would play his style and fit into his style as quickly as possible? Because we saw that happen in Chelsea, we saw that happen at France, we saw that happen in Germany with Dortmund, but we didn't see it happen with Bayern Munich. Where he wanted to tweak the style of play a bit, and this was the first time Bayern Munich went on to play a season without a trophy, without a single trophy for as long as I remember. So this is someone coming into a job now to tweak a setup, to try and get his own type of players in, and you're telling me now that the World Cup is not far-fetched. I'm saying
it's not far-fetched for crying out loud.
If you're looking at it, if somewhere like Southgate can reach a final twice, they are thinking that if they have an upgrade, that upgrade might able to cross them.
Now, how long did it take Southgate to build a team to get them to that finals?
Building a team the thing about national team is that you don't really need to build a team in quotes. You have the players, so it's not like a club that you buy players to fit in your own image.
Yeah,
the country has the player. You cannot import from Germany to come and play for you. They have the crop of players. Probably, let me say that if he starts coaching now, he might introduce maybe
some players.
He might introduce maybe 1 or 2 fresh players, but the core players, the Rise, the Hurricane,
the core players are already there. Yes.
The problem is that they need a tactician that can make these players he has work. That's the thing about the nation coaching the national team. That's why at some point Brazil was looking for Ancelotti.
Yes.
They need just players, because that's the problem with national team. You don't just buy players, you have to work with the players. But we're talking about the World Cup now. He's going to be there till the World Cup. So he's starting with January. So he has a couple of friendly games to build his team before the World Cup. Okay, John, do you think that the crop of players that England have now, do you think that they can adapt to his style of play?
Yeah, I think they can adapt to his style of play.
They are professionals.
They are professionals. 2, 3 is that you have a wealth of talent to pick from. You know, certain managers come in and they pick from only the top 6 teams in England, and we have a couple of talents in Europe and within the lower division. So you have endless talent to pick from. The thing is, can you come in and say, this is how we want to play, this is our identity, this is how we want to play, this is how I want to set up the team, and then you get these players to play in those particular roles. If you are talking about playing with 3-man at the back, we have more than 15, 20 top class defenders in the Premier League of English descent around Europe. You can call up anybody you want to call up and get them to play the way you want to play. If you're talking about playing 2 up front, we have a wealth of talent. Up front, we have the Hurricane, you have the Watkins, you have the people plenty. Just come in, have your pick, organize your team and build. The good thing about this move is that he still has 1 full year to prepare for the World Cup.
1 year, 6 months.
So he has ample time, and it's not like he's going to be playing regular football. You have ample time to scout. You have ample time to look out for players you want to call up into the national team. And then when you're talking about Southgate building the team for how many years, how many players did he call up into the national team? How many players were there before he came? So it's something that there are players to be called up. Are you going to be dispassionate about your agenda, or are you going to buy into the English media of hypes and these guys doing well? Are you going to look out for who is actually doing the work, or are you going to look out for who they are hyping? Because sometimes these players they hype don't really turn up, you know.
Okay, no, so I want to talk about this media hype, because sometimes if you look at Southgate, no matter what happened, he brought in probably like Maguire. There's players that always stay, irrespective of how they play at their club. Do you think that Tuchel should be calling players based on performance, or he can trust players like Harry Kane? Even whether Harry Kane scores 30 goals, 20 goals, he's going to be the English captain.
I think in recent days that was Southgate's undoing.
He kept calling players
that he trusts. And in midfield, he lacked it in midfield. Those players didn't really show up in midfield.
Yes.
The attack didn't really show up. The defense line was okay though, because we saw the likes of John Stones manning his defense line. We saw Harry Maguire putting his differences with Man United fan base and playing a good football. But it wasn't still enough to get the English side forward. We saw him playing a Trent ahead of Kieran Trippier. In cases, he should be playing Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker. You saw him put those players on the bench and play a Trent. And they kind of exposed that position because defensively he wasn't good enough. Now, you see it going forward into the forward line in the striking position. You saw games where Harry Kane was off, take him up in the 60th minute, and you leave him there for more than the 90 minutes. You get, at some times, you just need to take him off, bring in a Solanke, and those periods there was an Ivan Toney on the bench. Even in the just concluded, what's it called?
Euros
2024. I felt like, okay, fine, you're playing this style of play. You're not really creating chances much forward. And you have a Jude Bellingham, a Declan Rice, a Foden in midfield. Take off one person. If you're going to take up and put Palmer, that was maybe you take up a Kobe Mino, since you know you're not playing conservative football anymore. You want to attack the whole opposition half, and they are defending well.
So you think Tuchel will do different?
Maybe just take definitely maybe take out a Kobe Mino, take out a Foden, put in a Declan Rice. Then you have two attacking players that could create chances, run into pocket spaces, and still score you goals.
You know the difference between a world-class coach and a normal coach is that decision when you make that decision in a critical time of the match.
Again, is your risk-taking management. Can you manage the risk you take as a coach? You get, at some point, you just mentioned these flaws about Southgate. Southgate was not really that person that would go on and take the risk. But for Tuchel now, is he going to take the risk when it's needed? That's what differentiates between a world-class coach and a normal coach. The way you take the risk and how you take the risk.
Okay, finally, guys, the media, English media, normally will not be fair. They are not even fair to the English guy that Southgate. They were not
reading it easy on Southgate. They were not reading it easy on Lee. These men were English. Sam Allardyce almost died on the job. Big Sam. And there was other coaches that almost, Roy Hodgson, they almost died on the job. Heart attack. Now, and these men are English. Now, Fabio Capello ran out of it because he couldn't bear the pressure. Now, first, I think this man has managed himself well at Chelsea. I'm talking about the media. Yeah, he's managed himself well when he was at Chelsea. The way he answers the press conference, the way he kind of keeps his head low, do his thing, and leave the press conference whenever he is ready to leave. It doesn't allow you bully him while on set. And I think that's a way to go forward for him. And I think if he can handle this through, he can only trend on the newspapers and all of that, but not in his presence during press conference. And I think that's where they get coaches the most.
John,
during press conferences where they get to the most.
What do you think about the media, English media and their coaches, the way they handle their coach? Sometimes the way they criticize it is always too much. Sometimes you can't even bear it as a coach.
For me, I think it was super extra when it came to the case of Gareth Southgate, obviously, because a couple of these players, talking about the likes of Jamie Carragher and a couple of other guys, played with him. They grew up together. They grew up with him. They played together. They played for the national team together. So it's always easier, tackling Nonso than tackling somebody you already respect from his time at Chelsea, somebody you already know about from his time at Borussia Dortmund, someone that you already see go over to PSG, win titles, go over to Borussia, win titles, win at Bayern Munich, win at Chelsea, and win at a couple of other clubs, So I think for me, that familiarity thing with Southgate was one. They were super heavy on Southgate, even though they acknowledged the fact that he had better records than the previous foreign coaches, but they never gave him his flowers, So with Thomas Tuchel now, they know what they are going to get. They've seen him at Chelsea. They know what they are going to get. So I think Thomas Tuchel is one that will not necessarily give in to the hype of the media. He's going to focus and do his job and go about his duties as he should. And they are there to do their own job. But at the end of the day, they have to understand that the nation picked this man to do the job. And they should respect that choice and back him up.
Tuchel to win the World Cup for England, yes or no?
No.
Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes.
Okay, now they have made their picks. John think that Tuchel can win the World Cup for England, and so is in the opposite direction. But there's another international break happening in November. Lee Castley will continue as the interim manager for England, After that games, he's going to be moving back to under 21 to continue his role with the team. January 1, Thomas Tuchel will officially be the English manager. Let's hope that he can build a team, because he has been coming home since 1966 or so. He has been, I don't know if he's working, if he's running, but he has been trying to come home. That trophy has been trying to come home to England for a very, very long time. Let's hope that Tuchel will build a team that can win England their first major trophy in a very long time.